Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. I'm your host, Colleen Witt, and today we have very, very special guest, recording artist, INAS X is in the building.
Hey.
Hey. I am really excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited.
You really look like you are really into cooking now.
I'm so excited about this. Like literally, it's dope because this idea that we went to is like so like this just excited me up. Like
yes. What are you gonna be having us eat today?
Okay, so today we're gonna be having hummus.
Hummus.
But like the organic, original, homemade Arab way. Hummus.
Wow. I love that.
The real stuff.
I love that because basically what you're telling me is that instead of me buying hummus from the containers, that I can actually make it at home and it's budget friendly.
Literally, so much more budget friendly and just better tasting. Like it's
really.
Just
we gonna find out today.
Just literally organic, real. Let's get it. I'm excited about
this. Yes. So tell us what it takes to make homemade hummus.
Okay, so we have the chickpeas.
Mm-hmm. And these are canned, so people don't have to boil them and go through the whole nine.
Canned chickpeas, and we love Goya products, always.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the Goya product will work, but whatever product, chickpeas, boom. And then honestly, the lemon juice and the olive oil, I don't know if we have our olive oil.
Oh, we could have someone run and get it.
Yeah, the olive oil, the lemon juice, just crucial. Like anything Middle Eastern, they always put lemon juice and olive oil anyway, always.
Oh, really?
Always.
Even in all the like cooking dishes?
Yeah,
like,
cooking dishes always get, olive oil is like our, especially Palestinians, like olive oil is the thing because we like grow olives. So it's like, yeah, my mom would tell me like, oh yeah, we would grow olive trees. Like literally my dad would drink the olive oil, like organic, real organic stuff.
Drink it?
Yeah, like my grandpa would drink the olive oil. It was like so healthy. But it's like olive oil is in everything.
I didn't even know it was that healthy. Okay. Have you ever drank it straight?
I don't know about ours in America because they put so much stuff in our stuff. So I don't know if we could do that. But, you know, olive oil is, there we go.
Thank you.
Extra virgin, period. So I don't know about these brands. But, you know, like, it's so good. Like, honestly, olive oil and everything for us Arabs.
Is
everything.
It? Okay.
Olive oil and the lemon juice. You got to put the lemon juice in everything, literally.
Okay. What are the other ingredients?
And then just a bunch of seasonings. So some of the seasonings are like, you know, some traditional, and then some stuff I'm going like a little out because I like to season my stuff. You know.
Okay. So season the taste. And then there's peppers.
Yes. So we have. Do we have the peppers?
Yeah, in that little orange can.
Oh my God, yes.
But I don't know if those were the right ones.
Oh no, these aren't the right ones. But we're gonna just use this as an embellishment at the end. That's what would be cute. It'll be cute. Chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. Ooh, adobo. Okay, cool. Well, we got the adobo too, so we're lit.
I don't know what roasted peppers in a can look like.
I don't know. Like literally, I think it was supposed to be the jar.
The jar. I tried. I didn't know what I was looking for.
You know, I ain't a real chef in here. We just be doing.
We doing it, but we doing it and we doing it right. And you have garlic and onions. Teach us how to make it go.
Okay. So literally, the thing is like the garlic and the onions. I would have liked to like roast it up and stuff to make it a little bit that. But since it's not that, we're not going to put them in today. We're just going to have them as cute little decorations on the side. Okay. But so we're going to start with the chickpeas.
Got it. Now,
do we get started?
Yes, get started. Okay. And do we have to? I'm genuinely really invested in this. I'm hoping that I never buy hummus again after this. But do we have to drain the liquid out of the can?
Yes, we do. Where can we drain it out?
You could use those blue cans. Look, I'm asking all the right questions right now.
You really are.
Okay.
Honestly, just like we do have to drain it out because this water that they have it sitting in, it's just, you know.
It's like fermented or something?
Yeah, it's fermented and it's not really like necessary because the thing is you're supposed to soak the chickpeas overnight if they're fresh chickpeas. Okay. You know, but they're already soaking them. So it's like perfect because you have to have
Oh, they're not soft in there?
Yeah, they're soft now because they soaked them. So now they're soft.
So if I were to get a bag of chickpeas, the dry ones.
You can just soak them overnight. And then they come like this. And they become fermented and stuff. And then you just like drain it out. You can use that too.
Oh, I don't have to boil them?
Yeah, you don't have to boil them. So the thing is if you do boil them, it's like the replacement. Either you soak them or you boil them. Okay. Either or. Okay. We had this other dish called fool, and it's like garbanzo beans. Is that what it is? Oh no, these are the garbanzo beans. It's another bean. I only know in Arabic it's fool. Okay. But like literally, it's another bean, and with that one you cook, and that you have to cook that one. This one is optional. Like you can cook it. You can soak it overnight.
Okay, so for all y'all listeners, you can actually get the bag, soak it overnight, and then wake up, put it in a blender.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's
do your thing.
Let's get it. Okay,
we're excited. We ain't never had this dish ever in the history. This is 3 seasons in. We've never had anybody make homemade hummus.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. Yes. It's so crazy because I would wake up in the morning, like growing up, and then this would be like our breakfast, you know, like hummus. Yeah. And I hated it growing up, right? Like hated it. Like I was like, I don't want that. Like I don't want it.
And is it because you ate it so much? Or
yeah, yeah. Like, you know, you were so used to it. You know, you get so used to it and stuff. And then I literally, like, then it became a viral sensation. And then I was like, then everywhere is hummus, hummus, hummus. And I'm like, as an Arabic girl, it's the most interesting thing ever to see. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like, I would have never thought that, like, things like this would have become viral because, you know, as a little girl, you just grow up like it's a part of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like a part of the culture.
Yeah.
It's like if you're a Jamaican and you eat like jerk chicken all the time. Well, I don't want to even use jerk chicken, but like, yeah, something that's like, who was it? Like Trevor Noah had a joke about his friend that was Indian, and his friend like just hated eating different versions of curry every day, and Trevor was like so annoyed with eating, I think just school lunch, so they would like trade. Or whatever, because that kid was just like, I can't even look at the curry. Dang.
Okay, we're just gonna.
All right, we only need one.
We only need 1 can anyway. We're gonna try it all out. Okay, so boom. So we got this stuff in here, the chickpeas in here. We gotta throw in the olive oil, of course, because olive oil is.
This is how you know you're a real cook right here. She didn't even pull out a measuring. There's not even a measuring anything on the table. She just took the olive oil. And she just ran it through. Okay, got it. She was kind of generous. For y'all listeners, she was generous with the olive oil. Okay, what's the next? No,
literally. And then when I was, honestly, it would be cute if we had like whatever, but we're just going to throw in these seasonings like straight up. Hold on, the seasoning. Okay, so I love me some garlic. We got to put the garlic powder. I would have loved to roast a garlic and put in the fresh garlic because there's nothing like it. But since we don't have that, we're going to just put in the garlic powder. Put in a little
and when you say you roast, what does roasting look like when it's like peppers?
Just put it on the stove and then put it with some oil and just like...
like almost like a saute kind of, but not saute.
Like, yeah.
So it has that like little
outer... See, I gotta start
okay.
getting my terminology for my cooking up. Oh my goodness, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I like that.
Sauteing it, yeah. We gotta saute the onion and garlic, nothing like it, always. Okay. We saute onion and garlic in every dish too. That's another thing. Okay. Always.
Onion, garlic, and lemon.
Yep.
And
olive oil.
And you're a first generation. So
I am, yeah.
Did you... at all grow up in Palestine?
No, not at all.
So, but have you visited?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. So my whole life, Palestine has been in war, unfortunately. You know, and my family members go back there and, you know, just come back different. So it always gave me a like, damn, like I want to go back there so bad, but you know, it's
traumatizing.
It's traumatizing. Yeah. My mom had a very traumatizing experience. So I think that for me, it was always. Like, I always have dreamed to go back, but I always, like, in the right time, one day. You know what I mean? And that's, like, the dream and the goal. But now, for me, it's, like, I love, like, going back to any of the parts of the Middle East. Like, I stopped in Dubai, and I was like, oh, my God. You know what I'm saying? You just feel the vibe. Because I feel like being in the Western world, being in America, like, it's so different when you go to that side of the world. And I really haven't experienced it as much as I need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, as much as I want to. And, I mean, like... There's so many places right now out there that are just so beautiful, so poppin', just so like that I haven't seen yet that I'm just dying to see. But of course, like I want to go back so bad. But I've never spent as much like time there or anything. I went to Egypt when I was like 16 with the family, and that was like the closest thing I kind of got to it because Egypt is right across, you know, the water. But yeah, that's it. And one day, God willing, we'll be going back. You know what I mean? One day, that's the goal. Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it's such a we just want to, you want to experience the motherland. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I think it's important, but I also understand as a Jamaican, I ain't been back, and all my Jamaican friends like talk crap because they're like, you never been there, and you're Jamaican, and da 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 da. I'm like, man, you hear all these stories about stuff that may have happened in your family. You like, I don't know if I'm ready to do that. But now that I'm older, I'm like, yo, it's definitely on my bucket list. But when I was younger, you couldn't pay me to go back there because that was scary.
It was scary. Yeah. You hear all these stories, but then now you're like, oh my God, I really want to go see the motherland.
I want to know my roots.
Yeah, you want to know your roots. Exactly. And that's what's so important. And honestly, a lot of Arabs will do that to me too. They'll be like, but you've never gone back. Or I speak Arabic. That's my first language technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's very like broken up. Like it's like we say makassar. So it's like broken. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's Americanized. Because I speak English so much.
Now, does the Arab culture judge if your is it Arabic?
Yeah.
Or is it if it's like not perfect? Because I know in the Spanish community, they all judge.
Yes.
They discriminate.
Okay, so listen, the Arabs in the Latin community and the Arab community is basic so much alike. Like my mom's best friend growing up was saying is like Puerto Rican. That's why I use like adobo goyo products. Like I just like, you know, my favorite food is Puerto Rican food technically.
Okay.
Like, because I'm just like so obsessed with the whole Spanish culture period. But I feel like it's the same way. Like it's very judgmental. If you don't speak clear like Spanish or speak clear Arabic, they're like super judgmental. Like, how are you saying? No. They talk, you know, a lot of crap. Yeah, it's the same way. It's the same way too. I know in the Latin community and the Arab community of like if you're Puerto Rican and Dominican and Mexican, it's a little different. Like, you know,
yeah, they'd be like, don't get it messed up.
Don't get it messed up. It's the same thing with the Arabs. But honestly, for me, like, you know, now I love it all. Like people think I'm Latino all the time. And I'm from New York, so I love it. I'm like, soy Arabia, pero te amo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm very much so that, you know? So I feel like because we're so like intertwined. So me, I'm just like, if someone confused me for Latino or someone confused me for another Arab thing, I love it. Yeah. But people get really offended by that. They're like, don't do that, don't do that. I'm not that or whatever. And I'm like, whatever. Like
people will literally confuse me for Latino. They'll be like, yeah, Puerto Rican, or they're So I keep telling myself, if I learn Spanish, I'm claiming.
No, but
if you walk up on me and you be like, oh, are you Puerto Rican? No. Blah, 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 blah. If I knew how to speak it, I'll be like,
listen, when I
I'll
go
take
to a Spanish country, they start speaking to me in Spanish, and then I get by. But then it starts getting mad real, and I'm like,
you're like, busted. Okay, I really am not that.
Yeah, no, for real. Because my accent be on point, so they be like, oh, you speak Spanish? Like, and they just go in, and I'm like, But then I want to learn sometimes. So when I go, like, I'll go, because Mexico's right there. So I'll go to Mexico, take a trip, and then it's literally like, well, they'll start speaking to you, and then you're like, okay, teach me some Spanish. Yeah. And then they want to speak English. It's like, no. Like, my aunties do that to me, too. They'll speak to me in English, and I'm speaking to them in Arabic, and I'm like, speak to me in Arabic so I can get my Arabic up. And then they start speaking to me in English. I'm like, no.
They like, we don't have time to do this lesson.
Yeah, you feel me? They're like, no, don't play with us right now. Don't play with us.
I get that, though, too, because whenever I'm around, like, my Spanish friends, you know what I do? I tell their kids. That's what I learned.
Yeah.
If you go after the kids, they're more likely to help you out and be like, all right, we could do this. We could talk to you in Spanish. But adults always are like, we ain't got time. They get so
over it, like literally. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to get my stuff up. You know, I don't got nobody to practice with. You know what I'm saying? We out here in LA. You know what I'm saying? But I think even for my mom, I only speak to my mom in English. So it's weird because then when I speak to her in Arabic, I just feel so weird. Yeah. But some people speak to their parents in Arabic. Yeah. And that's how they keep it up. You know what I mean? Me, I've only spoken to my mom in English. Like technically we taught my mom English when she came all out here to New York from Palestine. She just was learning from like the like TV shows and stuff. And then we were speaking only English. She's working, and then that's how she learned English. So we, like her kids, like kind of taught her English, and that's a lot of
And how good is her English? Pretty
amazing.
Good. Really?
Yeah, she sounds like a New York, like, you know, Middle Eastern woman, you know, but
you're not from New York. I'm gonna be like hitting you up when I'm on that side. Like, hey, what up?
What's up?
Take me back to what was going on in the era of you eating hummus to not survive, but you know, in the times of just take me back to what was going on during the time of eating and making homemade hummus.
You know, I feel like for me, it's really crazy because, like, you know, when you're a kid, you like you just take so many things like for granted, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like even like things like this, it's like, you know, like I guess this is just such a cheap meal that you can make no matter what, because I grew up in Brooklyn. Like I was born in Brooklyn, New York, you know, Sunset Park, Brooklyn, New York, which is a very Latin community. And when I was a teenager, my mom, she started a business, and my mom, my stepdad, they started a business together. So it started kind of like we experienced being very broke, having no money, living in like a 2-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying, having no money, like literally like small 2-bedroom apartment building.
And how many siblings you have?
I have 3, but at the time it was just me and my older brother.
Okay.
So I have a little brother and a little sister as well. They're my like babies. My siblings are my everything. But me and my older brother, it was just us at the time. And then my little brother was born. And then we winded up when I was around a teenage, like around there. In New York, when you're like living in New York, you either are broke or you got money. Period. Like you're either broke. There is no middle class in New York. If you're able to live in New York City, you're either broke or you got money. So we were just broke. So when my mom started her business when I was a teenager, because my mom is really a self-made woman. Like
she sounds like she came by herself.
She came by herself with my father.
Okay, with your father.
And yeah, like it didn't unfortunately work out with my father. So then, like she met my stepfather, and it was kind of like my mom was Christian. My father and my stepfather were both Muslim, Arab men. So, I mean, my mom being coming to America and having to work and figure it out and having both parents having to, it's hard. Like, and it kind of, I saw my mom really like for her kids go so hard and figure it out. Like she was working at supermarkets in Brooklyn, like working at, like someone else's restaurant, working at wherever she could work to figure it out and make the money for her kids. And, then her and my stepdad were working for this person that was in this business, and they figured out the business. And then my mom was like, I could do this. So then she was like, I could do this on my own. I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then, I'm a kid, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. And
she just and she was basically by herself in America. Her family was like in Palestine or around the world, and my mom being Christian, my father being Muslim, marrying each other was a very Romeo and Juliet story. Like it was like forbidden, so like they fell in love. But of course, moving to America and Brooklyn, New York, a lot, it was a different time. Yeah. It was different era. Like it was hard. It was too hard. So, but my mom had that really, like, she's like the ultimate, she's like my biggest inspiration. She's such a self-made, iconic woman to me because I saw her really figure it out. We were like so broke living in Brooklyn. I was always the broke friend. You know what I mean? I was always like had no money, nothing. Like, I remember going to like the grocery store or going anywhere and being so jealous of my rich friends. And like, God, I wish I was, whatever, had more, you know what I'm saying? And then when my mom started her business when I was a teenager, like, it didn't really start doing well, and then it started doing well out of nowhere. We moved to Connecticut. So in New York, most people either move to Connecticut or they move to Jersey or they move to Long Island or they move out of New York unless you got money like that to afford New York, and if you want to afford New York like that. But so we moved to Connecticut, and as a teenager, my whole world changed. Like, it was like, what the heck is going on? You know what I mean? And at the time, I was like so not with it. But then after it happened, it was like, I don't know, everything kind of like, everything started changing, and I experienced a different life in Connecticut. Like, I was now the friend that had more money. And
more space, right? Did you get your own room
money,
and stuff?
More stuff, yeah. So like it was kind of like a thing where it was like, you experience how people like change with you. How people like when I didn't have money, they treat you away, and then when you start having some people start, it's like different. But it's like it was always like I was always like as a kid, I was like I wanted people to like me so hard and so bad. So when I didn't have the money, I was always like, oh, I want more. And then when I had more, you start realizing that people might not always want to know you or to be friends with you for you. They might just be doing that for what you have. So it was weird, but I experienced both, and I am so thankful now as an adult that I get to experience both. And then as an adult, I experienced both. Having you know what I'm saying, and having, you know what I mean? So it's like good to experience both so you really realize things of, you know what I mean, people, life.
Did that also like, was there difficult like friendship dynamics with that change?
Yeah, the friendship dynamics were always really challenging for me because like, it was like I always had a lot of friends. I was always really popular. I was always really popping. I was always that. But it was really hard for me to, like I had having immigrant parents and this, that, they were figuring it out. It was a hard family life. So I always went out and seek that validation from my friends and seek that validation. And I feel like moving to Connecticut was the hardest thing ever because I was the only Arabic girl.
That was going to be my next question. Like, and then there was a period. We all know this period.
You feel me? Let's get into it. I just don't want to sit down for this. Can we got.
I don't know how to safely say this in the right words, but there was a period where America was I would say discriminatory towards Arabs after around 9/11.
Right.
You're from New York.
Right.
Were you you were in New York during that?
Yeah, I was still in Brooklyn. Yep.
Did you have to like come face to face with any of that? Even though you don't fully have the look, or did you have the look, or what was that experience like?
You know what? I'm not going to lie. Like being in Brooklyn, New York is such a melting pot, and it's the most magical place in the world to me. Like, I've been so many places in the world. There's nothing like New York. I love it more than, like, anything, you know? There's nothing like it because it's, like, it's such a melting pot. I never felt like I was different. Even when, you know, of course, being the money thing makes you feel different in New York. You know, having money, not having money, and that experience is what makes it different. But the color of your skin, your religion, anything, it doesn't matter. Like, my mom's best friend was Puerto Rican. Her other best friend was Jewish. My mom's Palestinian. Like, it was never a thing, you know? But then, and you know, her Jewish friend was married to a Dominican guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was
sounds like real New York shit.
It's real New York stuff, you know what I'm saying? So it's really like that. So, of course, when I moved to Connecticut is when I really started experiencing real discrimination. Yeah. Real discrimination.
Because Connecticut, I would say it's more white, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Okay. So I would experience real discrimination amongst Black, white community, which in America is a real thing, you know, and I would really experience it in places like Connecticut. Like, smaller towns is where you really start seeing, like, oh, there's still racism. Like, it's still a real thing. It's still white privilege. It's still white power, you know, and I got to experience that. And then also me being, like, the only Arab thing to hit the, you know, at the time, to hit the town. It was intense. Like, I feel like...
Was it around that time or was it before?
It was around that time. And it was really hard because I feel like for me, not looking like that, it was like not wearing the full scarf. But I would, like, family members that would wear the scarf and stuff, like, I would experience and see what they would go through, and it would really bother me, you know? Like, they would get real hate for wearing the scarf. Like, real hate, real discrimination, real hate speech and all that, and I would be like, yo, and I would get mad, like, you know, I'm still a New York girl, so I would be like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, yo, what's up?
Move out the way, I got this.
For real, like, go, and then you holding me back, because you know what I mean? I'm ready to fight, like, what's up? Like, you know?
You got it. I feel your whole energy.
Well, like, when it comes to people I love, like, I'm gonna step. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, like, you ain't about to, you know what I mean? Like, none of that. I don't like any discrimination or any racism around me. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, I have, like, being a New York girl, I remember growing up, my best friend group was literally every single race, you know? Black, white, Latina, Chinese, Asian, African, everything. So it's like, that's all I ever knew. So when I started experiencing discrimination, it was like such a foreign thing to me. But at the same time, you know, it's like, it was never a thing that I could accept or like or anything. And even now, it's like never, I just don't stand for any of that. So, and I think that's really been a part of who I am. And I just love culture so much that even though I'm 100% Palestinian, I'm such a blend of cultures. And I think that's the New York in me, and that's what I'm so proud of. The Connecticut, to me, was like, it's good to experience small town things that make, I can relate to literally anyone, which is an amazing thing. Like, small town mentality, small town people I can relate to. Big city people I can relate to. You know what I mean? Like, I can relate to anything because of that, you know? But that it's definitely a real thing, especially in America. Small towns are definitely experiencing a lot of racism still.
Yeah, they are. I 100% agree. In small towns, especially, I hate to say this, but especially with small white towns. Yeah. Like, I don't know how it is, like, because some of the interviews, when we interview some of the guys from the South or Atlanta, you know, they definitely paint a picture, but I would imagine that environment's majority Black with sprinkles of white. But I went to upstate New York when our family couldn't afford the city life. And it wasn't fun. It was actually, I think, the first time I ever heard the N-word. Yeah, that was the first time I seen my mom get called the N-word, and I was like, what is that? I was real young, like, why are they so mean to her? And that was when my parents was like, you know, this is what racism is, and you gotta go almost above and beyond to, like, break that stereotype, to retrain what has 100%. Been taught. But now you grow up in this household, you're eating the hummus, which I'm guessing all the stuff is in there, so all it has to do is be blended. Okay.
Ready to be blended. See what's up.
So where on this journey does music enter the scene?
Ooh, I love that question. Oh, I love it. Okay, so music was always a heavy part of my life. Like in the first grade living in Brooklyn, because Brooklyn, New York is the creative capital to me. Like it's like creativity galore, you know? So I was in band and chorus. In the first grade I played Cher. Like that was my first thing. Like I was
That's
Cher.
a big, okay.
Like literally. It was
I just seen Cher, by the way, live do a performance, and it was amazing.
Iconic. Like she's the goddess of pop. Like and then she's just like everything. But I didn't know that as a little girl. They just had me sing "I Got You, Babe" and my partner Newton at the time. He was Sonny, and he was. He was a black boy, but it's Brooklyn.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
New York, you know what I'm saying? But whatever, it was like we did it, and it was like I just remember that being my first performance and the thrill that gave me, and I was in the first grade. And like growing up Arab, also my mom was Christian convert, and so I was raised mostly Muslim. So, and I identify with both. Like I'm both religions. I love God, period. But because I love Jesus, I went to church, I went to Catholic school. But I love the Islam religion so much. So I say prayers in both. I can pray both. I love both, all the things. But for me, it was kind of like very, very forbidden to do anything like that. Music, creative, anything is forbidden. Like you can't be half naked. You can't be on the stage. You can't be, music is haram.
So looking at your stuff now, I'm guessing everything has evolved drastically since, right?
The thing is I was a rebel. But now I'm a rebel with purpose. You know.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
Period, honey.
Did you just come up with that, or you've been saying that? Okay.
But I think I just said it that.
I'm gonna steal that from you.
Okay.
I'm low-key gonna pin that one. Okay, got it. Rebel with purpose. I like that.
It's real life. It really is. It really is. But honestly, because the rebel with purpose is a real thing, because I was a very rebellious child. I was very went against the grain, wasn't allowed to drink and smoke, drank and smoke, and wasn't allowed to dress how I wanted.
So you were your mom's worst nightmare?
I was my mom's worst nightmare. Jeez. My mom's worst nightmare. And I love my mom so much. I love my mom so much.
She saw this. She would be sitting here
so She knows. She knows it. She be over my shenanigans sometimes, but whatever, she loves me. But, it's whatever. At the time, it took a long time to get my mom's support on the music thing. That took a long time, because when I first started deciding to do music, I remember it was always something I've dreamt of doing, but when I decided to do it, everybody hated. Everybody was against it.
And how old were you at that time?
I decided I was going to do music at 17. I'm doing music.
They're scared to death. They're like, wait, no college?
Yeah,
music?
No, yeah.
Oh my God, you were killing people. It's one thing when you say it at 12. It's another thing you say when you're leaving the house.
Yeah, literally. I did it at 17 and I went for it. I decided and I went for it. It was so fast. I decided and I went for it so quickly.
What did going for it look like?
I remember with it, by the time I was 18, I tried out for X Factor. I got a vocal coach. I wound up moving back to New York. I got an internship at Def Jam.
Where were you? Oh, from Connecticut to New York. Okay.
I moved back to New York. I got an internship at Def Jam.
Oh, you weren't playing.
I was not playing around. When I decided music was what I was going to do, and because I wanted to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I was having to go to school, go to college. And then my little sister, she's my baby, and she was born, and she changed my life. She gave me reason, it was this little girl.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says that about their little sister.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, nobody says. I love my little brother, and I look up to him now, even though he's 30. But I had never looked at him and said, "You give me purpose."
No, she gave me purpose. She gave me life. She really did. She really did. And then we named her Jenna, which
look at you.
Yeah,
How old were you when she was born?
I was around there, 16, 17.
You were around that age.
Yeah, I was around that age. So she really changed.
So you got to weigh in on the naming and everything.
I got to weigh in on the naming, and I had a say in it, because Jannah in Arabic, Jannah means heaven. So Jannah. So that's why I was okay, that's her name, because she's my heaven. And literally she
were you were the youngest before her?
I have a little brother too. So he was born right before we moved to Connecticut.
But I'm saying it was you and your older brother. Yeah. He was older.
Yeah, older
brother.
So
technically she broke the spell of you being the youngest.
No, it was older brother, me, little brother, her.
Oh, okay.
So it was two sets.
What makes her so special?
She's just I always wanted a sister.
Okay.
And then it took a long time, but then when I got it, and then she looked exactly like me. And it was literally, this is my inner child in real life. You know what I mean? So when you heal your inner child,
yeah.
I'm healing my inner child in real life. I see her, and she looks exactly like me. Like, even now, like, she looks a little different, but she looks like she could be my kid. Everyone always thought she was my kid. I would walk around like she was my kid. You know, it's like a whole thing.
I love this.
Yeah, it was so dope. Like, she was, you know, it was kind of like being an Arabic American woman. I went through so much as a woman, and I feel like I just didn't want her to go through so many things that I went through. And I feel like inside, outside, anything, so my purpose was like, I have to protect her, and I want to change shit.
What are some of the things that you had to go through, if it's okay for you to say and comfortable say as a woman, that you would go as far as to say, I don't want her to experience this? Like, what were those experiences?
I think an immense amount of abuse and suppression and just things that I think every woman goes through, no matter who you are or what race you are. But I think that being raised the way that I was raised and being in, like, I think the amount of pressure that I had on me to be a certain way, not being that way, the amount of names I was called, the amount of abuse, physical abuse. I went through a lot of, like, I went through sexual abuse. I went through so much abuse, and allowing things that, like, as a kid or as a young adult, or things that I just shouldn't have ever allowed or wouldn't have ever allowed as an adult now, wish that didn't have happened to me, or wish that I had more protection, you know? So it became a thing for me to want to protect her and protect younger girls, period. Like, if I can be a stronger person and a stronger voice so that they don't, because for me it was a lot of, especially as a child, I was a pretty young girl, so I got a lot of things and didn't have the right amount of protection that I feel like I wish that I had, you know? And it was kind of like an unfortunate thing that just, you know, for me, like, I've had so much healing from, you know, and I think one day I'll be able to fully open up and talk about it. But I think as a woman, especially with any form of sexual abuse, especially as a child, I think it affects you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think in my personal opinion, it is the worst form of abuse. Second would probably be mental, and third would be physical. Oh, the irony, isn't that weird? And I think it's just because to unpack that wound, it's not like a bruise that you kind of like work through and it goes away. Like, that wound is just time and a lot of digging, if you even want to dig.
If you even want
your
to.
body usually will protect itself, especially when you're young. It like hides it or blocks it, right? But it's interesting you say that, because one of the questions I wanted to like kind of touch on is, if your mom was working as much as you say she was, like, who was actually taking care of you and your brother?
I mean, the lucky thing about the business that she started was she was able to be present, and her side of the business was home working, so she worked out of the house. So she was able to be very present, so that was great.
But before that, she probably wasn't, right, when she was grinding like that. Yeah, because I was like, when she first came here, it sounded like it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But it's cool that she saw an opportunity where she could do both. If you think about it like that, like, she was like, I could raise my kids and and make this money, and she chose that route the second she could, which kudos to her.
Yeah, and my mom has tried, like, as you know, I feel like being a mother in America, raising kids right now and for the last 20, 30, 40 years is so hard. Like, you know, it's so hard. Whether you're single or in a relationship or married or whatever, like, and being a father as well is really hard. But mothers, I feel like, take on like 10 times. Like, we have this whole, like, my mom took on 10 times the stress and, you know what I mean? That pressure, and 10 times that want to, like, I just want to do good for my kids.
Exactly. Like,
and
that
driving factor, you know what I mean? And I feel like I have only understood that from the love that I have for my sister, because I don't have kids yet, and for the love that I have for my family. But that intense love, that intense, like, my mother has, she always was that, and I'm so blessed to have that. And she tried her best, and no matter what, I feel like
even with a rebel with purpose,
she tried her best. No, I love you, Mama. But, like, I think that there was a lot that, you know, when you're a rebel and you're dealing with all these things, and you're dealing with the abuse, and
that's probably where the rebel comes from, right?
Yeah, of course, because I just didn't feel like, you know, you're running away. I was running away from my traumas. I didn't want to deal with it. And then as an adult, you just have to, it just hits you face on.
Yeah.
You just start experiencing your trauma in other people, or you just start projecting your traumas or whatever, and it's like not not a thing. So I think for me, like, healing became like the essential thing, because I feel like with all of that trauma, I feel like, you know, you never really understand like why until you become an adult, and then you talk to other people who go through it, or you're like, damn, okay, this is why. Like, we all go through the same things.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy. Like, we really do. We all get out of it the same way, and we're all kind of the same, and that's what makes us so connected. You know what I'm saying? So
I love listening to people's stories. I don't know why, but I love like all the hoarding and addiction shows because you just never, you know. I think also like growing up in New York, you see like my parents, the way they got us, somehow they successfully got 4 kids to not do drugs, really. And it was just like going around New York and be like, you know, that heroin addict was a doctor at some point, you know,
right.
Just smoked a cigarette and just ended up at heroin. You're like, oh shit,
oh my god, like, what happened there?
You know, but after watching these shows, you realize, you know, the overall theme in a lot of the shows was like mishandled trauma. You'd have a kid that was like a varsity student or was doing well.
Oh my god, that
and
is
it was
so...
like a mishandled trauma. Maybe the mom didn't believe the abuse happened, or, you know, they kind of brushed it off, or they said, hey, if you didn't sneak out at night, maybe this didn't happen. It was always like just one mishandled like trauma, and that spiraled into like a pivot 100%. Or whatever. And and obviously I love people's stories, so I now that I think about it, it makes sense that I'm obsessed with these shows. But yeah, it's always a mishandled trauma that kind of
leads you in the wrong direction.
It kind of goes. This person was going straight, and then it was a mishandled trauma.
That's so crazy that you say that too, because I was just watching this Simone Biles doc. And
I want to see it so bad.
Oh, it's so good.
I want her on the show, by the way.
Oh, it was so good. God willing, you know, you never know. It's going to happen. Everything's happening.
But it's really good.
But it was so good. It's so good. I mean, there's still more episodes, I think, coming. But it is that. And it's like trauma catches up to you. And then it's like this whole thing that the mental health thing is like a very real thing. And, like, it's, you know, the deterioration of it from the trauma and the abuse is a very real thing, you know? Yeah. And I feel like for me, I also got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
I definitely wanted to touch on that. Yeah. What does that look like? Because I hear the term a lot.
Oh, man. What? Oh, shoot. Well, here's the thing. I make it look very good, but it fucking sucks. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to be cursing.
It's a podcast.
No, it sucks. It really does. I'm not going to lie. Like, I, in the beginning, was, like, really, like, positive and happy, and it's a blessing. Another thing that I feel like all these things, finally, I've realized, like, you have to talk about it. You have to use it, because everyone is going through something. Yeah. Everyone is going through something, or their family member or something. So it's so important. But the reality of it is having a disease, no matter what kind, it sucks.
But is multiple
it's an autoimmune. Multiple sclerosis is autoimmune. It's basically a sister disease kind of to lupus.
Oh,
so and it's kind of like
for some reason I thought it was your back.
No, that's scoliosis or something. People think about that a lot.
So
no, it's okay, but it's kind of the same thing and a similar name but different. So it's more of an internal thing. It's your immune system is compromised. Immune system is attacking nervous system. Lupus is immune system is attacking joints and organs. MS is immune system is attacking nervous system. So nervous system is compromised as well. So, I mean, it's just like your spine, your brain, and, you know, you can live with the disease forever as long as it's regulated and as long as you never get attacks. So when I got diagnosed, I had an optic nerve attack. I started losing my vision in my left eye.
Oh, yeah. That's scary.
It was the scariest thing in my life. And then I was on steroid treatment. I got cured 100%, thank God. And then now I'm on a great treatment that has kept me 100% regulated, where I don't get any attacks, where I'm very healthy. I'm very great. And
you have beautiful, stunning eyes. Like, you have really great eyes. So I
was like, no, like, it was the worst thing of my life. Like, I was like, what? And it was like, I almost felt like that beauty thing, it was gone, because I feel like I was like cross-eyed, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not beautiful anymore.
Wow.
And it changes your values, because you're like with or without, you know, the internal beauty, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like, you got to be internally beautiful no matter what. So, you know, but I feel like for me, it was a crazy experience. I wasn't able to talk about it for a long time, and now I've been dealing with it for so long. And it doesn't get easier. You just kind of get better at it, you know?
Yeah.
And it is a very much so, like, I deal with a lot of anxiety and depression. I've dealt with a lot of anxiety and depression, and that's been my that we all do. Everyone who has MS deals with it, and that's like the good. Like, if you have anxiety and depression, it comes with it. Oh. And then if you have anxiety and depression, that's good. That's good. As long as you don't end up in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? Because there are people who literally are in a wheelchair. Unfortunately, this disease immobilizes you completely, or it can. But now with the advanced technology, it can.
So there's a chance that it won't.
Yes. Okay. No, cool. Now with advanced technology, it's very, very, very rare. Because the technology is so advanced. My doctors, I've been going to Cedars, USC, like these great places. I went to Yale, Harvard. Like I went to like the best doctors. So these doctors, because I've been super interested in not only like, in finding a cure for it, because there is a cure for everything. Okay. And I feel like for me, it's been like, learning. I've been getting more involved with the MS Society and going to more events and getting more involved with fundraising events. And we're like, they're raising so much more money for research and for all the things. And it's so advanced with all the technology, with all the research, that it's so regulated. Like I am doing amazing. Like I am doing better, and thank God. Like I worked so hard.
How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was like 21.
Wow.
It was like really like I went on my first national tour.
And that's when
everything happened for me so fast, yo. It was crazy. I started doing music. I got the internship, blah, blah, blah. Then I went on, then boom, boom, boom. Then I went on my first national tour.
How soon after you started the internship and pursuing
2 years?
Music? 2 years.
My first national tour.
And you moved. Who did you move to New York with?
By myself and my best friend.
Oh, he was giving your mom straight heart attacks.
Oh yeah. It took her a good until the tour started and stuff, and then I was on tour and doing a national tour like Post Malone. She was like, "Oh yeah, okay, now you do something."
And did you have a deal when you got the tour?
Yeah, I was in a deal, but it wasn't the best of deals.
Of course, the first deals are never the best.
The worst deals.
And when you're young,
oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever met.
Oh, they got me.
They had
me. Yeah, they had me. They had me. But I'm free, honey. So, but like, I'm not gonna lie. And I've signed deals since, and it's been great. But like, honestly, yeah, as a new artist, you don't know nothing, anything. I knew nothing, and I didn't have anybody in the industry, like parents or anything. So I really didn't know. I had to like really like build. Like,
and did you have to deal with like I'm gonna have to say the toxic masculinity that comes with the industry?
Let's talk about it. I love these conversations.
Real.
Oh my God, I love you.
I know
You're
it was
amazing.
Because I've been in the industry and I've seen
this
it.
Is
like,
why,
it's crazy.
Come on, like this is we have to talk about it more, because I feel like it is it's a disease in and of itself. Like,
but
you know what I mean?
Also, you have to be like it. There's no rule book that comes with this game, right?
No, there's not.
Then you're a beautiful, attractive girl that has her eye on the prize, and then you have to navigate
through a masculine, very
shark waters. You're in shark waters. And you got to convince the sharks that you're not food. Is that the best way to put it?
That's exactly it. And I'm not going to lie to you. The only thing that happens is you become a shark. Like, that's the only way.
Girl, everybody watching this episode should take out notes. That's the best way I never even thought about it.
That's the only way.
I remember I used to pretend like I didn't pretend, but I just chose the tomboy, like, approach.
That's the better way to do it, but they still get you. They still come.
They still coming.
They still coming.
They definitely will try.
They get coming, even if you're in a plastic bag. I would always try to tone it down, like, even when I would, be around and, like, tone it down, wear casual, or try to make myself look like as, like, no makeup, no hair. Oh, I love you with no makeup.
I know.
Like, bro,
like, yo, those sweats look
good. Like,
but there was a point where I remember just choosing, like, the asshole bitcher role, because I felt like that would somewhat be like.
Unfortunately, as a woman, it's almost like, and I remember saying this a lot, and this was like my thing. It's like you only get called a bitch or a whore. Like, that's the only things you get called as a woman until you earn your respect. And that's what sucks. It's always like, oh, she's either a bitch or she's a whore. Notice, every successful woman, they try to discredit her by saying she's either a bitch or she's a whore. Always. And it's always a woman, Even like the biggest, like, oh, well, she got on because of this or she got on because of that. So what, though? But she's a multi-billion-dollar entity. Yeah. You wouldn't say that about a man who's a multi-billion-dollar entity and got it that way.
You wouldn't. I have this thing where I like negative comments.
Yeah.
Sick. It's very sick of me. But
what's your sign? What's your birthday?
I'm Aquarius, February 12th. But something about, like, I love the
my
positive.
My sister's Aquarius.
But
I love Aquarius,
but the negative. But I was strolling on our YouTube and I was reading through the comments and I saw someone wrote, "This girl must have fuck the whole industry to pull all these famous people and
oh my God.
and not a real following. And I was dying laughing because I was like, no, it's a testament to working hard and working with integrity and pursuing your dreams. And what you don't realize is, yes, first of all, by no means am I friends with all these celebrities. I'm just going after, we have a common goal, right? But I just thought it was absolutely hilarious that you couldn't even just give me my flowers for being like, wow, this random girl put this together.
Right.
Instead, it's like, she slept with the whole football team?
Like, damn, I gotta. No, for real though.
That's
and
terrible.
Yo, every time you're seen with a man, oh, you're fucking him. Every time a man is this, that, oh, he's that, oh, shit, he gotta be, oh, yeah. And every time it's a man, oh, he gotta be the rich man. Like, literally, I just like got out of a situation where it was just like, you know, everyone thought that he was the one who was doing things, and he was the one who had the money, and he was the one. Oh, I thought he was the one. No, I was the one.
Oh. Flex.
You feel me?
Flex, yes.
Like, I was the one. Like, I was the one who had the money and the cars and the house and the credit and the this and that. I'm the one.
That's my girl.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now it's like kind of a thing where it's like they always want to do that. And now I'm like, nah, chill. Like, I will quickly take that. No, I'm the boss. Chill out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And very, very, very feminine. I'll do it in a very feminine way. Yeah. You know, because I'm a very, inside me, I'm a real New York girl. Like, I'm very aggressive.
But I feel like you have done your work because you have this bravado and this power in you that is like, yeah, try somebody else. You know, like, I love it. I love it because it's also wrapped in beauty. Like, you're living your feminine, but you're also like, I'm not taking that. Yeah, you know?
I love you, yo. You get me. Yo, you get it. Because you know what it is? It's like, we as women have to find that balance because, and men too, because, you know, we all have the feminine, masculine energy in us. But because it's such a toxic masculine industry, and we are, as a boss woman, you have to own your masculine energy because being a boss is masculine. Using your brain is known to be masculine, or having ideas or expansion, money, that's all masculine energy. But when you're doing something as a woman, that's the energy you have to you have to embody, but doing it in a way where it's still like, I'm such a feminine girl on the outside, but I think it's really the New Yorkness in me because I really have, like, it's still, my best friends are still my New York people, like, still.
You sound like me. I was just in New York and I was like, man, this paper gets up, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm going. I'm like in my little brother's house looking up real estate.
Nah,
like,
for real. Like, what we doing?
I think I can make this work.
What we doing? My New York people be like over me. They're like, you always say you coming back, but you don't get it. Like, I'm here, we in LA doing something, but New York is always, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like this realness, and it is that, you know,
it's genuine love too. Like, the relationships are like 100%
real loyalty,
genuine, like
real genuine shit.
When I'm on the road taping, my New York homegirls are flying their little babies to cover my ass and watch my daughter
for real.
Out of their own pocket, like, you know what I'm saying?
And it's real stuff. It's
real
not
love.
No fakeness, no fugazi, and that's what we. That's why I'm still on the New York code. And on top of it, I feel like when I came to LA, I was a little. So I had to learn the balance because I was super New York. So I have the confrontational side to me sometimes. You know, obviously, if you feel like someone's playing with you, like,
but you're a power player.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, but exactly. Like, you learn the 48 laws of power. You learn that you gotta move weights. But when I first came to LA, I was constantly turning up. Like, who you playing with? Da da da. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll make some phone calls right now.
She's so
like,
petite, by the way, guys.
She's so small,
petite,
but so mighty. Like, literally, I'm like, that's why I said I was 7 feet in this little 5'2" body. But, like, seriously, like, I was going a little crazy, and then I just had to hone it in, and I had to be like, okay, you gotta bring it in a little and really find that balance.
To do the LA scene. Because LA is a definite, you're right. And so funny you say 48 Laws of Power, because I think that was one of the first books I had to read to navigate LA industry. Period. Yeah. It was literally the first thing I had to read.
It was, and
like, you had to learn how to, it was almost like Jay-Z saying, like, you had to learn how to move in a room full of vultures.
Like, Jay-Z is like, goat. Like, he's, like, definitely, like, so many of... Sorry, Mama, I promise I wouldn't change, but I would have went insane had I remained the same. Like, that's really it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I lost my mind so many times. You get chewed up and spit out. And then you have to... It's like, you don't... People be like, oh, you changed. Oh, you this, you that now. You this, you that now. But it's like, you think I worked this hard to stay the same?
Exactly.
And I'm still trying to remain the essence of me and the true essence of who I am, of course, always. But... Of course, evolution is a part of this that we trying to, you know what I'm saying? And then now I finally feel like I'm still learning that balance because I feel like, you know, once you feel like someone's trying to play you, you know, it's like, you know.
No, finish that sentence. I want to hear you say it.
You know what I'm saying?
Once
it's just
you
like,
feel like someone's trying to play you, then it's like what?
It's like I can't even, I'm at the point in my life where I can't, like, even let it slide. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even let it slide. Like, I can't even be like, oh, yeah, you try to play me, okay. Nah, like, we gonna have to address that, or I'm gonna have to deal with that right now. You know what I'm saying?
I just entered that era these past 2 years where I'm like, if it's even a fraction over the line, we address it.
Yeah. Or I'm setting boundaries right then and there.
Yeah, boundaries.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I'm still working on boundaries.
I'm still working on it too.
I'm like still reading books.
Like,
my producer,
literally,
shout
I'm
out
still
to
working
Jared.
on it too.
We still boundaries is hard.
It's hard.
That shit.
I just talked
really
to my
hard.
therapist about it, and it's like there's also levels to the boundaries that you have to set, even with yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I was talking to her. Actually, it's so funny about this whole thing with dealing with my angry side, because I'm a Capricorn, but I'm an Aries moon. So, you know, Capricorns are we're both ruled by Saturn, Capricorn, Aquarius. So we're very rational thinkers, very level-headed people. But the Aries moon comes out, and she is a dragon. Like, she's ready, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, how do I deal with this? Because when I get angry, like, it just, especially if, like, someone keeps on, you know, and my thing is respect. Like, I'm big on respect.
We are twins. I'm telling you, there's something going on here. Yes.
No, for real. Yeah. Like, I'm big on respect. Like, you gotta, you know, once I feel disrespected, I don't know, the dragon just comes right out. And it's a thing that I'm a little more patient, but if you keep on doing it, it rises. And then I'm trying to not, because it's like, you know, life is about not letting people take you out of your character, you know, like no reactions, you know, all that thing. But that's the thing I'm working on right now the most, because that's hard. And especially when you are a woman, as soon as you turn that way, they want any little thing to take to use against you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They need a person with the anger problem. I know we only have 10 minutes left.
Oh, yeah, we talking, we chatting.
I need you to
we need to blend
do me a solid, blend this. And then I just want to talk about some of these huge milestones that you were able to accomplish. I know you have a team, but we're talking about a beautiful INAS moving from Connecticut back to the Shark Pool in New York, creating or pursuing her dream and accomplishing that goal, to also going to the opposite side, LA, which is a huge feat again, to becoming, you know, a recording artist with a massive following, records on Billboard. And we gotta just touch on that at least a little bit over some hummus.
Let's do it.
Okay, homemade hummus. Sorry, me and Inez have no idea how to work a blender.
No, we really did not know what we were doing, but we worked it out. Okay, so the longer way was someone took it out of the shells, all the chickpeas, but that was gonna take way too long. I mean, we don't have time for that.
You mean take it out of the shells?
Yeah, like all the chickpea things have like little, you know, they like have little shells over them. You know what I mean?
And they didn't take them off in the can?
Well, no, they don't. But like that would take too long.
Oh.
Okay, let's see what's going on here.
You may need that thing, no?
A little lather thing.
No, that red thing.
Yeah.
Wow, that does look like hummus.
It really does.
I've never, ever had homemade hummus. If it ain't bought in a store or restaurant, I don't have it.
Oh, my God. It looks good.
Yo, that looks legit.
It is, right? I'm proud of myself. Hold up.
Oh, my goodness.
It smells really good, too. Hold up. Oh, my God. Look, it looks good.
It looks really good.
It's legit. Okay, listen.
Hold up. I'm going to... Wait, are you going to add more stuff to it?
Okay, I think it's good. I was going to add a little bit of the... I'm going to
try and scoop some of this.
Right here. Let's see what's up.
Let's see.
Okay, let's cut up these things.
We gonna try these skills.
Yeah.
Yo, if you teach everyone
how to make homemade hummus,
it's a game changer.
Yeah, no, for real.
Especially for Los Angeles, because, you know, we eat hummus.
This is real life.
Okay, here we go.
Let's do this.
We're gonna try it.
We need a little more seasoning.
I think it needs, like, if I didn't mess up your roasted peppers.
I think it needs the roasted peppers.
Yeah. What if we try that? Can you just
put the roasted peppers?
Well, I don't know what that is, but you and I are about to discover the land of whatever this pepper is in the can. Because it definitely tastes like hummus. And then you know what? I think, so when you make this at home, though, do you put it in the fridge? Because I'm so used to hummus being cold. Yes. So I think also if it was colder, too.
But you know what? Like, normally when we had it in this temperature.
Oh, for real?
And then a lot of the time they put, like, meat in the middle, or they put, like, that's what I mean, like, the roast peppers. You know what I mean? Because you need something. Anyway, I don't know how to do this.
This tastes legit. This tastes like store-bought hummus.
This is legit. Well, yeah.
I don't want to say store-bought.
Homemade.
Real stuff. This is the real deal.
Honestly, I wish I paid attention a little bit more.
Here, let me try to help you with this pan.
Yeah, please. 2, because I, like, honestly like to go in on the seasonings, like, in.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because this is, like, very authentic right now. This is how the authentic hummus tastes, like, legit.
I'm just going to do this. I'm scared to, like, do more than this, but I'm going to just see what happens if I go like
Ooh, yeah, that looks good.
Okay. Let's see.
Ooh. Is this hot?
I have no idea. Imagine if I can't even breathe after I take a bite of this. Yo,
chipotle peppers. Oh, it's about to hit. Is it hot?
Girl, we discovered America right now.
Oh, what is up? Oh, is it good?
It's very hot, though.
Is it really hot?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Tell me that ain't bomb.
That's the one.
I'm acting like we just discovered something.
No, that's the one. That's it right there. Give me some.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was really good.
That's
Give me some more of your pita bread.
Right.
Yo.
Yeah, that
Shout out to that. Tell me you ain't gonna remember that.
Oh my God, that really did it though.
That really did it.
See, I need a little of the peppers in there or something.
You need something, but
that's really good.
My first time ever having homemade hummus. Did not know it was this affordable and easy. Thank you. Now, tell me, what are the major moves you had to make to, one, get a record to be a top performing record on Billboard, and also how you amassed such a huge influence in your, and how long you've been pursuing, you don't have to age yourself, but how long you've been going this hard to achieve those milestones. I know that was a fully loaded question.
Yeah, it was. I like that.
That was like three questions in one, but you can bang them off one by one.
Like, for me, I feel like it was, a lot of it is and was like the right people and having the right team, yes. And then a lot of it is, I feel like you as the artist, it's like up to you nowadays, you know? Like it doesn't matter who is on your team or how is on your team or whatever. Like I've worked with so many amazing people and I still work with so many amazing people, but it's up to you as the artist and how much you do.
But don't you also put together your own team? Right?
Yeah. And you got to do that nowadays. Like nowadays, as artists, like nobody really has the handouts. Like you really have to put it together. And I think for me, it was constantly having that audacity, you know? Like I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? Like having the audacity, like, you know, like, because it's kind of like a thing where it's like.
This hummus is so good. Look.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, gone.
Fire. She loves it. Period. Legit.
I got extra cans of chickpeas or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, like literally it's so crazy.
I'm going to do this at home.
People don't even know what the hummus is. Like the chickpeas. Like
no,
people
when you said it, I'm like, wait, we could do that? Let's do that.
That's so good. But like literally, and this right here just set it off. Like this is like crazy. But I also feel like it was, having the audacity, doing it, going for it. And then I feel like, and you got to keep going for it, you know? I think for me, nowadays, I think it's like so many people have so much to say all the time. Like it's always like, oh, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that one? And for me, it's been trusting myself more and more and more in the process, you know? Whenever I trust myself and I do things and I go for it, things happen. And then, you know, God gives you the right people and right things that you need at the right times. And I'm such a godly woman. I trust God so much. I try to trust God more and more and more. And it's been that process of trusting God, trusting myself, trusting God. You know, and then in this male-dominated industry, like not being sold on dreams and not be like, you know, I think that people will say a lot of things and then not come through and whatever. And that becomes disappointing, discouraging. It makes you feel like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with the copyright. I can't do. There has to be a level of like nothing and no one is going to stop you and stop you from doing this. Like there has to be that thing.
When you hit those points, because I hit those sometimes even with this show where I'll be like, what the fuck am I doing? Just quit already, right? But then I'll have some conversations with friends, obviously close friends, where I can be like, I saw on Instagram this person did this.
Right,
and you're like, shut the fuck up. Right. Like, you know, stop looking at it.
That's the realest thing right there. I think that's the real thing. I have to say, too. I deal with that all the time. People tell me the same thing. Like, I'll be like, why is this person doing this? And why are they doing this? And why are they doing that? And this and that. And it's so hard because, like, they always say, like, I saw this thing with Jimmy Iovine, and it was like, you got to have the tunnel vision.
Like, you running that turtle race.
You got to do that. But then nowadays, we have Instagram. Like, he's saying that from a time where he didn't have Instagram. We got Instagram now.
Have tunnel vision. Then I literally called the president of the Black Effect and was like, I just don't understand. She like, do you know how long these players been playing this game?
You feel me? You
over here crying after 3 years.
Right.
Girl, they've been at this for a long time. Don't even look at them. And that's what I want to emphasize. I want you to share with us is like that long journey. It was not overnight.
No, yeah. It's a long ass night if it's overnight.
It's a coma night.
Never ending coma.
Do you still get glimmers of like a bad day where you're like, oh, like, I want to quit, and it's not that easy to pull you out of it?
Whoa. Well, you know what's real? It's like the deeper you get in this, like the deeper you get, you know? So it's almost like you can't just give up or pull out.
Nope.
It's like, and that's how I feel like it has to be. And that's why I feel like if you get it, you get it. And people who are the greats all say the same. Like, it's like there is no giving up. Like, I'm going to figure it out. We're going to find a way. And we're going to make it happen. And everybody will be like even recently I was having some conversations, you know, where it was just like, because people, like, obviously, like, if you don't have a number one hit and you don't have a number one this and a number one that and you're not the number one artist and whatever, you have all these, you're still going to be compared to the next one who is,
of course,
you know?
Yeah.
And it's always like this comparison thing that goes on, or like it's always the feeling of like, you're not good enough because you don't have this, or you're not going to, you know what I mean? And I feel like there is that moment where you're like, I am good enough and I am the best to myself. And I'm just trying to be better than myself for real yesterday. And then I was just like, I had that moment recently again where it was just like, man, I always feel like I'm like asking myself, why this girl and this girl and this girl. And then, you know, guys in the industry love that. They feed into that. Like, oh, yeah, you think she's better than you? Oh, yeah, maybe she is better than you. Like, they feed into that. You know what I mean? And then I had to, like, kind of boss up and be like, you know what? They don't got nothing on me. Like, I am that girl. And it's that energy. Like, I am that girl in whatever it is. And then you want to infiltrate that. You want to feel that. You want to own that, because people will feel that too.
Yeah.
And then you'll either inspire them and they'll want to feel like they're that girl or that guy too, or they get a little intimidated by that and they get a little insecure about it. And I feel like that's the energy, because whenever all that stuff gets in your head, and it's like that thing of like it all goes back to that vision that you have. You got to stick to that vision. Your whys, you know what I mean? Like, these are the things I always remind myself: my vision, my why, and God, my relationship with God.
I was gonna say, you know, like, my newest thing has been, it's been weird because I've always believed God. I always call God like the silent man that never answers. Oh my gosh! Whenever someone be like they heard from God, I'm like, was it God or your conscience? Like, I believe in God, but for whatever reason, the devil be like, till he send that email, that text.
And people kind of like separate the two, but God is so energy and everything.
Yeah, but I think
God is really everything too. Like,
I had my team put together this clip, but mainly focused on like the pastor kids that have been on our show. A lot of kids in the industry are pastor kids, which I thought was kind of cool. But one of the things that the overall theme, and it's just constantly coming up in my mind, is anointed. And so sometimes when I want to quit, I think it was DC that said it best, like, this life is stressful, that life was stressful. But there's something about the transition to the pursuit of your dream when you know it's God anointed or aligned, when it, for whatever reason, it just like the right place, right time, and it kind of took off. And sometimes I question even this show, and I'll be like, but you miraculously ended up with a deal from the Black Effect. You weren't even like, you know, looking for it. It was like, you got to admit, that was God divine. That was a good God divine thing. So now when I want to quit, I'll be like, so you question whether you were anointed to do this?
That's exactly it. And that's the number one thing for me lately. That's the number one. Number two, like, literally is all my relationship with God has been everything. My trust in God has been everything. And even that, going back to that question of how do you navigate in a male-dominated industry, God is the number one man in my life. You know what I mean? And I wish that I always thought like that. And I wish I always felt like that the whole time. Like, I wish I thought like that. I wish I didn't let a man sell me dreams or tell me things or whatever, or get in my head or whatever, or try to get in my pants or whatever it was. Because God always needs to be the number one man, woman, person, thing, everything in your life. Because I feel like, and if I always had that and truly had that, I feel like I would have even gotten even, and that's where I'm at now. And I'm like, okay, now I feel like, where are we going to go now? Like, you know what I mean? And there really is that like that full trust and knowing that conscious and God is really within you, and knowing that God created all this too. It's like, so the God is within you, so you know that anything that you truly want to make happen, you really can make happen.
Can make it happen, yeah.
And that's why I've been like lately, like, I got to remember that, because it be the closest people to you that be making you doubt yourself, or it be the closest people to you.
It's never going to be the homeless guy in the corner that walks up to you. Yeah, you would laugh, but it's the people you care about, or you genuinely love. They plant that one seed. And then it's like, I always go back to like Michael Jackson. Like, he's my favorite artist, and I like his family. It doesn't, and no matter what, as you get in a higher level, it gets harder and harder and harder. More and more people hate, and you deal with that. And I feel like no matter how big, even when I see, even Michael felt like when I watch documentaries, or when you listen to his music, or when you watch him, even he felt moments of insecurity. Even he felt moments of not being good enough. He physically altered his thing because of all of that. Yeah. And he didn't grow up in the social media era. So he had it bad. Like, you had to have it real bad to go through that.
Yeah. And then on top of it, it's like,
as the number one pop icon, you got to think of how bad. Like, I never even thought of it before. Imagine you the top pop icon in the world, and you going through this. There's no social media. You had to have been going through some heavy shit.
Right. And no one to talk to.
Yeah,
and no one to like open up to.
Again, mishandled traumas too.
Right. And that's another thing I was going to say about that too. A lot of artists that are our favorite artists, like, now that we have all these resources, we have to share more. Because my favorite artists, I wish that they were still alive, and they probably will be, if they just dealt with the traumas properly, or if they just had the proper help, proper people around them that were giving them those resources. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it sucks when you get to that level and then you have so many people using you and taking from you and all this stuff, and you're just like looking for that light, looking for that way out, as you're giving so much light to people, like, as the artist and all that, you're giving so much light and love and all that stuff, and then all you're getting is this hate and taking this and constant abuse and stuff. And I remember even, like, I was watching Whitney Houston's documentary, and all, it's like the greatest have gone through the heaviest traumas and then haven't been able to have that outlet or have that. And then nowadays it's like, we have to share more of those things, because nowadays it's like this stuff is so real. And I think it's not even about, like, when you see someone who has all the success, you're like, well, how did they get there? And then when you see the real stuff that they went through, it's just like, no matter who it is, you're like, damn, I went through that. I go through that too. Yeah. Like, even when I saw Simone, I'm like, oh my God, like, she went through a lot of depression, anxiety. And I'm like, I went through so much depression, anxiety. Like, this is so important to talk about this more, because we all are so much of like the same. And so, and I feel like in a time where they're constantly trying to make us feel different and constantly trying to make us feel different from each other, divide us and this, that. I always try to figure out how we're all the same,
I'm starting to see, and I told my team starting next year, and it was one of the interviews I had with La Russell, is I think that we've gone from everyone, the highlight reel on Instagram, to being like the number one most pursued thing, to now, and it could be just the way the algorithm is with me, but I feel like people are literally looking for vulnerability and genuineship and alignment, versus, I want to achieve this hot body. I want to find someone that, looks or talks. She could even be the most beautiful woman, but I want to see that side of her that's more vulnerable.
Exactly. And that's the stuff right there. Because I'm not going to lie. That's why, for me, I've been even like, you have to talk about your stuff more, because
and that's how relationships are built. It's the exchange of vulnerability. If I'm walking in a room like I'm the baddest, and you in the room like I'm the baddest, what commonality do we have?
It's all ego.
But then you like, I'm from New York. I had a single parent. I'm from da-da-da. I had a single parent. Your best friend's in Puerto Rico. My best friend is Puerto Rico. You got depression. I got it too. We both struggling with anxiety and depression.
Nah, for real.
Cool. Let's draw the shades in together.
No, for real. No, for real.
But no, that's the age we're in. Music, though, has been, I would assume, it has been an area in which you can find some healing. Can we we're running real close on time. I do want to talk about your music and some of these accomplishments and where you were and what you were doing at the time of some of these accomplishments, like hitting your first 1 million followers. Or no, forget that. I'm going to scratch that. Let's start at 100,000 because I'm still trying to get to like 50. Where were you at that point? Because that's usually like that tipping point, right?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, the 100,000 was dope because it was like, oh shoot, like
I'm getting traction.
It's getting traction. Yeah, it's weird. It's like when I was on my first national tour with like 50,000 followers, which was crazy. And then I remember I was getting all these deal offerings and the following was so important. Like, oh, but she doesn't have enough following. And I was like, whatever. It wasn't important. I was like really on my artistry stuff. I was really like just did a national tour. Like who cares about, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, when I started realizing how important it was and like this is how you could touch the whole world now. You know what I mean?
But were you also frustrated because you're like, here's my music and it's great, and now they're telling me to focus on this following?
Oh yeah, that was so annoying, and it was like what? And then I started really focusing on it, and I kind of built this new like obsession with social media. Like I was always trying to figure it out, like figure out the algorithms and figure out.
That's me right now.
Yeah, like I'm always trying to figure it out always, and I feel like with social media, it's an important. It's like for me, it's a. Like, there was a big shift at the 1 million mark because that's when I actually started making money. But the 100,000 mark for me was, like, a fun thing because it was just like, oh, my God, like, you know, we're moving, we're getting there, we're seeing, like, you know, we're seeing more traction, we're seeing more, you know what I mean, whatever. But I think nowadays the social media, like, if I were to do music now, starting now, I would just strictly focus on social media. Like, I would go and do, like, open mics and do these and that and all this, like, back in the day. And I think that that's important. Artist development is so important, and it's a lost art for real. But I spent my 10,000 hours in artist development, truthfully. But
yo, say that again. She spent her 10,000 hours already in that side of the business.
Yes, artist development, the lost art of artist development is so important.
And it wasn't overnight. And then you had to pick up this extra skill set, right?
Yes,
this random
and that's the thing.
Unicorn.
So that's the thing. It's like because nowadays you're like, oh, well, I just got to build my following. That's what people are doing, but then they're not focusing on artist development at all. So you kind of got what I did, and I feel like this is kind of like my own little recipe. And if I were to, because I eventually want to sign artists and put other artists on and help other artists, and I would kind of, we have to infiltrate it all at once. You know what I mean? You got to learn how to post on social media and constantly be posting. And it's a constant thing. Like, if you want to pick up the Instagram algorithms, like when I was starting to pick up I was posting every day. You know, it's a lifestyle. It becomes a part of your lifestyle with content, my life. You know, content is king, your life. No matter what you do, cooking, music, podcast, content, you know. So I feel like that was like the content and then the artist development at the same time, because even though it's like, yeah, like I got to be ready for a performance because nowadays you build the following and then you got to get on stage.
And then everybody over there like,
oh. now you got to talk in front of the camera. Now you got to get on stage and they're like, and then you have nothing going on, you know. All of that is development. All of it is so much development. It takes so much development work. And I think that nowadays in American music, the artist development needs to come back with the social media following. Both are so important. But social media is like literally everything nowadays. Like,
and do you think that's more important to the industry standards because I even notice even with this show, they'll be like, what's the numbers looking like? You know, it don't matter if you have a million good things. That's to them is the verification, or is it more important because you can touch base with your fans? Which one do you think is more important as an artist?
I think it's like a little bit of both, but I think the touching the fans is the most important thing, honestly. I think like with appeasing like those kinds of people, they're only appeased when you're like really moving an audience anyway. Yeah. You know, so you got to move the audience. They're never appeased. It's never enough. Like, a million followers. Well, why don't you have 10 million? This person has 50 million.
Well, you're well over 3, so you're good.
You know what I mean?
But it would be crazy if people are still coming to you like, well, where's that 5? Where's that 10?
No, it is that. Or it's like literally, or nowadays, it's like you got to have those kinds of numbers across the whole board. You know what I mean?
Like on every platform.
On every platform. And it's like, okay, like be realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because also I think Country Wayne had said it best, like, you know, I think there was a period where he had Facebook following, but not the other followings. But Facebook following was that older demo that actually spent money.
Right.
And like, you know, really pulled up.
And then all of a sudden, like, Facebook started monetizing, and Facebook started, you make money on Facebook. Now you can make money through Facebook and not Instagram. So then it's like all these platforms change, and it's just like, it's so interesting. And it's like, okay. So I feel like it's like this weird thing that you kind of always have to keep balancing out. Yeah. It's like, okay, I got to focus on this posting. For me, I'm always trying to find that balance, because it's always like, you know, when I started building the social media, I started becoming like a social media influencer. But it's like, I was doing music and on tour, Billboard first. I just have to start doing this, because it was like, you have to do this as a part of the whole thing. You know, you have to post and this and that, and people got to know what you're doing. People want to know everything about you nowadays. And it's not that you don't want people to know everything about you. It's just that when you're doing music and you're doing something, like, you want people to focus on that, you know?
And the music is your body of work, and it's the closest. It's actually your vulnerability right there, right? But social media is a different visual, more so short-term visual form. It's got to be. They're really two different worlds. But I'm glad to hear that you were able to like conquer that second one. That second one is a beast.
I'm not gonna lie, it was like definitely like it's still constantly like figuring it out, you know what I mean? Because once you build, like, you constantly figuring out algorithms, the way the platform is set up, what they're doing with the platform on their end, you know? Because you build this following, and then it's like you build it, and then you kind of got to keep going and you know, revamping it and things. So I think it's a learning process, but I've been on some lately, like you know, be patient with your process, because
that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like at some points, it is a lot of pressure, and you kind of become like, oh, like, I'm trying to get to this next milestone, but then it's just like, just be patient with that, because you will get there, and it will happen. But just at least, I've been trying to at least enjoy the process. Because, you know, in this industry, it's hard. Like, everybody's, there's always something more you have to do.
There's another metric and another goal
post, another metric, and then you never really get to enjoy the moment and what's going on in the moment. And I think sometimes it's like, that's what I've been trying to do, because I've learned and I realized, like, oh, I'm trying to get to this level, but then this person's trying to get to my level, and you're not even enjoying this level, you know?
My dad had pointed that out when I was younger. I had a company. It was like magazine for 10 years, and I would cry him if I got a parking ticket. I'd be like, Dad, I'm ready to jump off a bridge. I got a $20 parking ticket. I can't do it.
That's real.
And my dad would be like, I think it was my dad and my business partner at the time who was like, you need to start taking 5 minutes. Even if we're at a major show that you produce, take 5 minutes. Take it all in. Don't even work. Don't even say nothing. Take it all in. But my dad came up with this idea where, and I still have it in my house. If you go in my house, I don't do it all over my walls. I call it the Wall of Fame, which is like it's a hallway because I have a lot of stairs. And I just put really hard accomplishments on there. It's literally, it's random posters or whatever. And it's just the Wall of Fame. And it's not like in your face, like, hey, this is who I am. But if you were to walk the stairs in my house, there is literally like the Wall of Fame, and it's the most random, hardest shit that I ever set my mind on. I actually pulled it off, you know, and I put it up there, and I don't really look at it, but I know it's there. And my dad was like, you're getting to the point where the goalpost moves so much, and you're hitting these goals, but you're not even realizing. You're not even taking it. You don't even take 1 second to take it in.
Right.
So that's when a $20 or one rejection or one cancellation, you're ready to quit because you forgot this Wall of Fame of accomplishment.
That's so true too, because I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, like the like, you have to kind of like, sometimes when I have those moments, I've been trying to talk to the right people too, because you know, when you're in that moment, you can talk to the right person who can like literally give you that affirmation and give you that reminder, like that, like, remember what you accomplished. Yeah. Remember how far you've come. Yeah. Remember where you started. Like those little reminders. Or you could talk to someone else who will make you feel like more shit. Yeah. Like, oh, you know, yeah, maybe you should give up. Maybe it's not working out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I literally had that moment recently.
Where someone did that?
Yeah, like with someone really close to me. And it's like, well, yeah, maybe you should. Maybe you should give up. I don't know. Like, yeah. It's like, what? If I'm having this moment, that's the last thing I want to hear. You're terrible. Like, literally, never come to me with advice again.
Well, yeah, you got to also, I think I learned, I would say a couple years ago, is that the real friends, your real day ones, and this is how I judge friendship across the board. You want a friend that is happy when you're up, like and also down when you're down.
Man,
there's too many relationships we have nowadays where you got the friends that are happy when you're up, but they're not down when you're down.
No, and they're happy when you're down.
Then you have the friends that are down for you, will kill for you, but they're not happy when you up.
Yeah.
The real friendship,
gotta be both.
And I think Oprah recently said on the clip, is the one that has no jealousy. Because the one that has no jealousy can actually value you when you're up and be like, hell yeah, motherfucker, we all, like, my girl got pregnant the other day. We all celebrated like,
you got pregnant.
We're like, what is it? What is it? Did they find out? What is it?
Yeah.
You know, we just happy for that. Genuinely down to the toes, like
happy.
Yeah. Like you swore, you know,
real too, like real,
because we knew that's what that person wanted, so we feel it.
Well,
but then when they're down, you showing up,
and it's weird for me too. It's weird. I had this moment, another moment, a lot of moments, but I had another moment recently where I sometimes, you know, as an artist, you get close to people that you shouldn't. Like sometimes you're glam people, you know. Some people get close to glam people. Some of my glam people have been my best friends and are still mad tight. Cool. Sometimes you get close to certain glam people and it's like, not the smartest of thing. As the artist, you're the boss and you're also the, like, these are your employees, but they become your friends.
Yeah.
But it's hard because it's like, that's hard when you're like your employees, your friends, because at the same time, there has to be a level of respect. So once that there's a boundary that gets crossed or you become too personal, the respect is gone. And as the artist, people don't realize that we really are the last ones to eat. Like, people don't realize that. People don't realize that
you are dropping gems that really show, in my honest opinion, really show you did the work. But yes, you are right. Repeat that again. The last one to eat.
No, we really are the last one to eat. I was just watching this clip from this songwriter that I know, that he's a great songwriter and everything. But it's like he was saying, oh, like the songwriter's the last one to eat. No, the artist is the last one to eat. Yeah. The songwriter eats before even us. Yeah. Everybody eats before us. Everybody eats before us. And whether you're signed independent, the money got to come out of somewhere. Yeah. Somebody's pocket. Yeah. And it got to come back to somebody's pocket. Yep. And if it don't come back, even though you could have a budget, $5, $50,000, $500,000, $5 million, doesn't matter. If once that money goes back, you got to get it back. Return.
It has to be recouped.
It got to be recouped. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And then people don't realize that, you know, as the artist, like the money is coming out and it's coming out of your pocket. And that's why it's like people even think like, like I was watching a documentary recently with Michael Jackson's Bodyguards or something. It was like a newer one. And it was like Michael didn't have money at the end of his career. Michael. Damn. You know what I mean? Michael. Yeah. You know, he wasn't able to pay, so he can't pay his employees. His employees is like, and he needs his bodyguards. He can't even pay his bodyguards, and he needs the protection. Can't even pay his bodyguards, or whatever it is. You need this, and you need that, and you can't even pay for that. So you try to build relationships and build friendships, and then it starts crossing lines or whatever. Or even if you're paying them, you're still around them all the time. You want to be friends with them. Yeah. It's so hard.
Or especially if you're starting out and you do like, we're working with a budget. So say you and I are working together and you can't pay me as much, right? And you say, I'm like, okay, I believe in you too. That's where the lines do get blurred because they're now, it's like both people crossing that little
thing.
That line.
That awkward little boundary thing that you're like, oh, well, it's a trust thing that has to happen. Where you don't know if you could trust the person. You don't know if the person's like, but I think it's like what you said, it's the exchange, it's a common, fair exchanges that has to happen. And I think that people don't.
But when you're the boss, it really kind of fucks you over the most.
Because it's never going to be
it's never going to be like a fair exchange, but one person is technically holding the burden. So yes, you're right, but it ends with you with the dagger because you're like, fuck, I should have never crossed that line to begin with.
You feel me? Because it's like there's never going to be a fair exchange because when you're the boss, you're already in a higher level. And no matter how much they give.
And they're coming in it from whether it's an act of service, but they're coming to gain. So it's not in a weird sort of sense, it's I'm coming to get this
as much as I can. Yeah. Right. You know, and then you wind up feeling like, it's an unfair exchange. So I think for me lately, it's definitely been that. It's definitely been like truthfully, like it's all a part of the process, but then you realize that and you're like, well, if all of this is the case, then there's a reason why you start realizing that people are the way they are. Or even if you're like, oh, they call you this and they call you that, whatever, but they don't know how much it took. They call you a bitch or they don't know how why was I a bitch that day?
Yeah.
Like, how much I got to deal with on a daily basis. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like even when I used to hear, like, J-Lo used to be called that. And I'm like, J-Lo was a boss.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
Working her ass off.
Like, if she, like, and I think that, you know, it started becoming, like, a thing that people just use it to, like, oh, I don't like J-Lo because she's mean. And you don't know if J-Lo's mean. And I ain't never met her.
Yeah.
Like, you can meet her. She's mad nice. People say the same thing about Nicki Minaj. I met Nicki. She was so nice to me. So I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm crazy. So I don't know. Like, she was nice to me. So everyone has their own experiences, but I think it's crazy when, like, the general public judges an artist like that. When an artist gives nothing, we give nothing but love and you know what I'm saying, to the world. Like, no matter what an artist has on their personal life going on, it's different. To the world, we're giving art. We're using our traumas and using it to give art to the world. Yeah. And we live in America where it's like all they do and all we do is try to tear our artists down. But I think, like, something has to give where we have to understand that, like, every artist is a human, and even if they're like, they always are trying to, like, demonize the artist, like, oh, I've been seeing that a lot about J-Lo lately, and I'm like, I love J-Lo. Like, oh my God.
I love her. I think the best thing to do is, like,
the greater you are, the more haters you have, and that's how you know you're doing something right. So
exactly.
That's the T.
That's the T.
That's the T.
And I think at some point we all got to realize there's nobody on the planet, not the richest man, not the brokest man, not the one with the most baby daddies, the one with no kids, whatever. Every person has to come face to face with problems. Right. There is no person living on earth right now that doesn't have problems. That's a part of being human. And I think if we all walked around with a shirt that said, hey, I got problems, and everybody just walked around seeing shirts that I got problems, they'd be like, well, shit, you know. And then what's sad about the human race is like, well, I got problems. What's your problem? Well, my problem's worse than your problem. It's like, yo.
That's not the point right now, bro. No, for real, though. That's a fact.
That is yo, we should literally print shirts. Like, but seriously. I guarantee if you put the whole world in I got problem shirts,
I got problems,
people will just literally compare their problems.
And it's hard, though.
Yeah,
that's
like,
hard.
That person's crying because they didn't have a McDonald's burger today. I got bigger problems than that. Forget them.
No,
and they start
real.
hating.
Yeah.
It just never stops.
Oh, yeah, she went through this, he went through this. Well, I went through this and this. Yeah. And that's what I there is that thing and this constant, like, that separation. We all have, like, ego. Mm-hmm. But you got to realize, like, you know what I mean? Even when you said, well, you walk in, that's you the baddest in the room, that's your ego. Mm-hmm. But then you immediately like, well, oh, shit, I just had a bad day and I just want to talk to someone. Like, that's the real you. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, you have to, I've been trying to find that balance. And I call her, like, because with Lover Girl is like me. I'm a Lover Girl. That's me. I'm a Lover Girl. But my alter ego is a trap Princess Jasmine. So, like, literally, it's like, literally. So I kind of, like, had to separate the two because I do have my super loving me, you know, but then I do have my dragon side, my, you know, my New York girl, don't play with me side. So I feel like that is a real, and I call it a trap Princess Jasmine because Princess Jasmine is the only Middle Eastern pop culture girl we got. But, you know, I'm the trap one.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So how would you describe this latest EP and all of that?
Yes. So, I mean, it's an exciting time because I feel like now, I haven't dropped a project yet. I've just been dropping, like, singles. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with Lover Girl, it's been, like, my first project, I was like, what is the name gonna be? Like, you know, Lover Girl came to me one morning. I woke up and then, like, I was like, I want to name it something with love. I was thinking about that. And then I just thought about Lover Girl. And then obviously Drake did Certified Lover Boy and stuff. And people call themselves Lover Boy. And then nobody did Lover Girl. So I looked it up. And then the only person who did it was Tina Marie. Okay. And like, when I first started singing and doing open mics in New York, people used to compare me to Tina Marie. They used to be like, oh, your voice, you sound like her. So, like, I was like, wow. And then I never really, like, I would do my research on Tina Marie. She was one of the artists I studied, of course. But then it was like, I never really heard her name too much. So then when I looked up Lover Girl, I saw Tina Marie is the only person who had a song that was Lover Girl. Years ago, I was like, all right, I got to pay homage. And she spelled it two separate. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do Lover Girl. It's official. And name the project Lover Girl. And then I just, like, I was, like, realizing, like, damn, but I got this whole other side to be my trap Princess Jasmine side.
Yo, I love that name, by the way.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of going to be like an A-B side. You know, Lover Girl is coming out in September. And then by January, my birthday, I'm going to be dropping the B-side, Trap Princess Jasmine. So it's like, yeah, like, and it's, like, super fun because it's, like, Lover Girl is, like, totally this side, you know, sweet side, girl, sweet Lover Girl side, soft girl. Trap Princess Jasmine is on my, you know, I'm on my BS. No,
I like that. I like that. So it's like but overall, it seems like it's a empowerment album.
Absolutely. Like, I feel like Lover Girl I made when I was, like, more so, like, in love. And it was, you know, all the music was very much so, like, I was in a relationship, I was in love. And then, you know, now I'm, like, you know, not in the relationship anymore.
Yeah, so then Trap Princess Jasmine came out and said...
Period, honey.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Trap
She's back.
Princess Jasmine is saying on this album, because I ain't in a relationship right now, so I need to listen to Trap Princess Jasmine.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've been on, because like Lover Girl, I'm not gonna lie, like even for me, I love my Lover Girl side. I love that, but the Trap Princess Jasmine and the records that energy is definitely what I'm on right now, and I feel like it's very empowering because it's like, you know, there are certain things that I feel like I'm rapping more on it, you know, and there's some, literally. So it's like there's some things that I can't always say singing. And when I'm on my BS, I want to say some things. My BS is my boss. Not my bull, my boss.
Your boss.
You feel me?
Okay.
Like, you feel me? So it's like kind of like I want to say things that I just say it when I'm rapping, and it's just crazy because I feel like there's no A-rap girl rapping and singing right now. It's a whole other thing. So it's like,
and I love that you're proud of it too.
Yeah. Like I'm so excited about this era because I'm like, even especially with the Trap Princess Jazz, there's a lot of now. Obviously, there weren't a lot of Middle Eastern girls doing it, but now there are. There's so many more, and I love it. But I feel like for me, it's always about being a trailblazer. It's always about like setting the tone. It's always about taking it to the next level, taking it to the next place. And I feel like being that, you know, that person that takes it there. Like, I want to take it there. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in American culture, most of the stuff that we listen to is like, I grew up in this urban rap music. Jay-Z is my favorite rapper.
Did you see my Jay-Z painting out there?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And they didn't know it was Jay-Z because they didn't know it was New York. And he doesn't really look like Jay-Z that much. His face is a little...
I gave my mom this, and my mom drew the picture.
Oh, your mom did it?
I commissioned my mom to do it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mama. I love you, Mama. I take that back. That looks like Jay-Z.
No, I feel bad. The picture she had to work with was so tiny.
Okay, so you did it to her.
And so I set her up, and I was like, I want the biggest picture of all time.
The demeanor and everything, I knew it was him. And then I knew it was the Marcy Pride. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, okay, yeah, it's Brooklyn. That's Jay-Z. And they're like, is that Jay-Z? I was like, yeah, Jay-Z.
I just mainly like the little water coolers on the side.
I just always said that I've always wanted to be like a female Jay-Z when I grew up. Like, literally.
That's me. That was me as a kid.
Right? Right? Because he's just like the blueprint to it all. Like, you know, just...
And you said the blueprint too.
Literally, of course. Pun intended. You know, it's like the blueprint to it all. And, you know, it's crazy because it's like, you know, being able to be an artist or being able to be doing something and then being a boss is just so important nowadays to have that element because it creates that longevity, like you said. Also, I think it's also that having that business element. A lot of artists that I see that they do last, they have the business element to them as well. Because if you just like allow you can't. This is a business. This is your craft. This is your business. This is your stuff. And, you know, you have to have it, like, it's the most successful artists take that very seriously. Yeah. You know, so I feel like I take that very seriously. And I feel like I see other artists who are just like, they don't know about anything going on. And I'm like, not me. I need to know everything going on. But at the same time, you know, it's like, as an artist, you just want to be creative. Yeah. So.
You got to balance both. Tell everybody how they can keep up with you, even though I'm pretty sure they know how. But go ahead, share your Instagram handles.
Yes, follow me on all the things. INAS X.
INAS-X, or is it just
INAS-X? Yeah.
Got it. All right. Thanks for feeding us some great, amazing homemade hummus. Peace out, y'all.
Yay.